All right, this week, Shelby County Commissioners approved aligning their elections with the Memphis-Shelby County School Board. So that means next year in 2026, all 9 MSCS seats will be on the ballot. And those seats are also limited to 2 4-year terms. This is in line with state legislation to allow for the election changes. Education districts 1, 6, 8, and 9 were already up for election in 2026. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Districts 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7, originally up for election in 2028, will now join the 2026 election cycle, cutting their current term short by 2 years. So that means board members Natalie McKinney, Stephanie Love, Tamarcus Porter, Sable Otay, and Tawana Murphy will have to campaign to keep their seat. And remember, all of them except Porter voted to give former Superintendent Marie Fagans the boot. So I'm going to open it up to the one who's been in those seats before, Tawan here. Your thoughts about the commission approving this, and is it fair to those current board members that are really impacted, or do you think this is the right decision?
I'm not going to focus on is it fair to the board members. I'm going to focus on is it fair to the citizens who voted for them, for one term for 4 years. No, it's not. It's usurping the power of the voters. The voters. And if Trump had done this, we would be up in arms. To anybody sitting, we would be up in arms. You don't change the rules of the game in the middle of the game. You can change the rules of the game, but you need to change it at a time that it does not impact the voters. So I expect the school board to sue regarding this. I expect there to be a lawsuit. And when Mr. Whaley, Commissioner Whaley said, well, we didn't write the state law, sue the state, not us. Oh, excuse me. They wrote state laws to allow you to have guns. But when you fire the gun and hurt somebody, that becomes your problem, not the state's problem. So this will be Shelby County government's problem. I also want to say it usurps the will of people. I think there was another way to have done this. They could have done it on a rotating basis and still have some institutional knowledge on the school board, but they chose not to. They chose not to. They'll have a clean slate every 4 years. And I'm not sure if that's in the best interest of educational policy and long-range planning.
I love your analogies. They always make it so easy to follow. Love it. Otis, yes, best case scenario for these school board members, the ones that are now up for re-election early, 2 4-year terms on a fresh start means that they could at most serve 10 years. Worst case scenario, they were cut 2 years only.
Right.
You know, I'll ask you, do you expect them to retaliate against this?
Well, I expect that some lawsuit will be filed, whether it's by the board as a whole or individuals on the board. I agree with Tawan. I expect the lawsuit because they're not happy about this. And, you know, it is a problem to change the rules in the middle of the game there. The only positive, only 1 or 2 positives that I see is I believe that if the elections are held in 2026 for the school board, at the same time that we have the broader county general election, I think it will increase turnout. You know, in 2024, the turnout for that election in August was only 13%. But for the general election 2 years earlier, it was like 23, 24%. Still not great, but it's much better than 13%. So that's a good thing that people will be paying attention to this. But I agree with Tawan. You're going to see some legal action here.
And Catherine, you as a journalist know all of the decisions probably that have been made by this school board since they were put in their seats, and the big one being the Fagans ousting. I have to ask you, County Commission's decision, did all of the last 2 years obviously factor into that?
I think it certainly did. I think if you look at the 5, you pointed out 4 of the 5 who are going to have their term split in half were people who voted to oust Fagans, and that was not a popular decision with the county commission or with quite a few others. What I am curious to see is how the public responds to this. Will they feel as though their rights were taken away from them, their voice in voting them into 4-year terms, and will they just vote them right back in? I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm very curious to see.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay, looks like we all, is that the last note on that one?
Well, it is in effect a recall
It really is.
for the 5 that got elected. including the 4 who voted to oust Fagan. It is a recall referendum on them. And so you're right, Catherine. I'll be interested to see. I think you're not going to see maybe 1 or 2 of them get reelected. That's my prediction.
How do you think Fagans feels about this right now?
Oh, I think she's happy about it. But,
I have no comment on that. It really doesn't matter. I'm not
really
even.
don't care about what she thinks.
Okay, well, on that note, a topic that we are going to revisit that we haven't in a while are the ex-MPD officers who were charged in Tyree Nichols' death. There's a lot of developments in whether they're going to get a new federal trial. We're going to touch on that after the break.